What's up? It's your man ES here. What's up? Anyways, this is a review of the video game Deus Ex, whatever how you pronounce it, Mankind Divided. Now, just to get right into the review, I really like this game. At first, I really did not. I'm not gonna lie. Did not like the game, or I did not think I was gonna like the game. I really didn't give it a chance. Now, I am unfamiliar with this game series, just like my review for Drake Uncharted. I was unfamiliar with the Uncharted series as well. And just like that game, this game actually did a good job in the beginning. Did a good job with detailing what happened in the previous Deus Ex, I guess, series. With this long 10 or so maybe minute video clip or just summary of what went down. Now again, I didn't think that was very memorable, nor did it have much to do with this game, but it was still nice to know what happened prior to the events of Deus Ex Mankind Divided, such as Drake's Uncharted did within that game, and detailed what happened prior to Drake's Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. So kudos to, I already gave kudos to, you know, the developers of Drake's Uncharted for that, but kudos to the developers of Deus Ex for that little aspect as well, so new players like myself, because we're not always, you know, I'm not, the only video game series right now that I'm privy to is just the Grand Theft Auto series, and obviously the 2K games and a lot of other Rockstar games, really. But just the great Grand Theft Auto series is the only games, one of the very few game series that I'm very privy to. That, Halo, stuff like that. So I'm not really I didn't get into a lot of the games that are already established within the series that I played this year or last year or whatever. So kudos to any game company or any future games that, if I decide I want to play their third or fourth iteration of, they do a good job of welcoming new players such as myself and letting us know what happened without us having to, forcing us to actually go back and play the previous games just so we can be caught up on the story. That was cool. But speaking of the development of this game, one thing that I thought was good in a sense, but not so good, this is depending on how you see this. The graphics and just gameplay wise and everything. Now again, I don't know if the previous Deus Ex games in general played like this, but it played very similar to Chronicles of Riddick Escaping Butcher Bay, which is one of my favorite games as well. So this wasn't a bad thing to me. The simple aspect of it is, and I think it was Odios who produced or made both games. I think for some reason they're both related in a way. So they may be made by the same creators. That is a good or bad thing depending on how you see it. Like again, now the game Chronicles of Riddick came out in 2004. We are now in 2016. So that means 12 years. It's been 12 years since they created, I don't know if it's been 12 years since they created a new game, but Deus Ex and Chronicles of Riddick, since they're made by the same people, I'm assuming, have a 12-year difference. Yet the graphics, in a way, did get a little bit better, but the gameplay wise, the voiceover, which was a problem with a lot of people that I've seen talk about the game. They had issues with the voiceover, and it was kind of an issue in this game. Not enough to turn me away. Small stuff like that. If it's done, because for the most part it was done all right. It wasn't as terrible as some of the other YouTubers may make you want, may say it is to them, because they want something to be extra perfect and crisp. I get it, but I just don't understand how a video game company can go from these old, because the first Chronicles of Riddick, well, I don't know if it was the first, but the one I'm talking about, Escaping from Butcher's Bay, that was an Xbox game. I'm talking Xbox, the original, when it was just Xbox, not an Xbox 360, not Xbox Scorpio or anything. I'm talking the first Xbox ever. That was an Xbox game. Well, I had it for Xbox, so there you go. Like I said, enjoyed that game, everything else. But when I played this game and got a little more into it, it just reminded me of that game so much. And I'm like, but that game came out in 2004. We're in 2016 now. I get it. It's the same company who made the game and everything, but you should have improved on your graphics and your voiceover for the past 14 years. What were you doing that you only improved on slight things and not these things? Okay, especially the things that I feel as though I see more people talking about what they don't like about the game. Okay, a couple of major things that didn't again totally throw me off about the game, because I liked it, but where issue with me was how buggy the game could be, how glitchy the game could be. Anyone who knows what I'm talking about, there are certain aspects of when you're picking up stuff, you would get stuck for some reason in between. Like if you're picking up a trash barrel, or you would get stuck in between that trash barrel or just whatever object that's in the vicinity. And again, things will be buggy when you're traveling from one city or one place to another, and the game will freeze for just a little bit, just to load up the rest of the game. I understand things like that isn't an easy thing to perfect, but when you are going to put that much, especially in a great open world game, which this is, in a big open world game like this, if you are going to put that much stuff, you have to make sure that the systems and your game, whatever you're putting in, it has to be supported well. Okay, and I'm not saying it was supported badly in this game, but it wasn't as well as other open world games have done it. And I feel like this was one of the most in-depth open world games I've ever played, and that's a good thing. I actually love it when open world games really feel like an open world, where you can enter in here, do this, do that, interact with these people, interact with that people. That's what I loved most about the game, honestly. The story was great. Gameplay was great. Other than the obvious bugs and the 14-year similarities between this game and a different game that the developers created. And just to explain to that, whatever, the only reason why that would bother somebody, or why I brought that up, is because when you look at the Grand Theft Auto series, now I don't mean to compare this, and I don't mean to compare every open world game to the Grand Theft Auto series, but in this aspect, when you look at the Grand Theft Auto series, gameplay differences happen between, you can tell the difference between Grand Theft Auto 4 and Grand Theft Auto 5. You can tell the difference between San Andreas and Vice City and GTA 3 and the stories and the other stuff. So, and those games were typically 4 to 8 years apart. 4, I guess, years apart being the most, actually. So, and you can see and feel the difference between those games. So, I just didn't understand how this system, the creators, once again, had a 14-year difference. Again, from 2004 to 2016. That's a 14-year difference as to creating a game where, if you know this game it looked like this, it played like this. Let's create a game that looks like this and plays like, looks and plays different. Again, it's not a big complaint of mine because I actually liked how it was done in Chronicles of Riddick, Escaping Butcher Bay. Honestly, I think the way it was done then was done better than it was done in this game, Deus Ex, which is a shame because, once again, it's a 2004 game being compared to a 2016 game, and 2004 game, in my opinion, that game played way better and it was so much more smoother than Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. But overall, I did enjoy this game. Like I said, I enjoyed the story. I liked the best part about it was just how open it was, and I think a lot of open world games, again, hate to compare it to GTA, again, another open world game, but GTA 5 was not even close as open as this game was. GTA 5 actually scaled back how open it was for some odd reason, maybe because the systems couldn't support it. But if you ask me, and anyone would tell you when they ask me, I think GTA 4 was more of an open world game, better open world game than GTA 5. Simply because we got to do more things in GTA 4 than you had to in GTA 5. And the things you could have done in 4 were more entertaining than 5. But this isn't a GTA review. This is Deus Ex. I give them props for being a great open world game, and if there's a category for, I guess, best open world game for this year, Deus Ex has to be in that category for sure. Now, I haven't played any other games, so I don't know, but trust me, Deus Ex will automatically get my vote, simply because it was just a great open world game and everything else about it was just dope. I will definitely play I feel as though, and this may be a spoiler report, but I think there is going to be another Deus Ex. Will I play that one? Absolutely. Do they need to improve on the things I said they need to improve on? Yes. If they can keep the game looking graphics-wise, because the graphics were good, as I was stating, it was expected. The game, the developers, although the name is slipping me right now, I'm pretty sure they created Chronicles of Riddick, Escaping Butcher's Bay. The next Deus Ex game they create can play just like that, because graphic-wise, I expected the game to have better cutscene graphics than gameplay graphics. Everyone who knows me knows that's a big gripe of mine with these especially newer video games, but video games in general. I've always had a problem with cutscene graphics being better than gameplay graphics, simply because I always thought, well, if you can do it for a cutscene, why not do it for the gameplay? Why make the gameplay? Why scale their graphics down in the look, but scale it up when it comes to a cutscene? I understand cutscenes, you're just watching. You're mainly just, it has to be pretty, but I like a pretty gameplay graphic as well. So that's always been my issue. Chronicles of Riddick did it perfectly. That's why it's one of my favorite video games, other than the gameplay, other than the story as well. I feel as though that game had great graphics, as well as made the gameplay graphics just as great, and just the gameplay aspect in general of that game was great. So if the next Deus Ex played like Chronicles of Riddick, since they're not gonna change shit up from the character movement and the voiceover and stuff, if the developer isn't gonna change much, at least keep it that 2004 style, and obviously create this story that you're going to create for the game. Keep it a great open world game. I would not change that aspect. I think that if all the Deus Ex games are this great of an open world game, I would have to say it's the best open world game in all, even though I haven't played all of the Deus Ex games. But judging from Mankind Divided, Open world wise, 10 out of 10, perfect. Just would like the graphics and the gameplay to be a little better than it was in Mankind Divided. But my overall thoughts of the game, I'm leaning more toward a 9, a 8, 9-ish. Anywhere, I don't want to say 8.5. I like to round my numbers up. So, just anywhere between an 8 and anywhere that is an 8 or a 9. I'm leaning almost more toward 8. I did say 9 in my notes, but I'm still thinking it was an 8 caliber, close to a 9. But that's just my thoughts on it. If you played the game, if you enjoyed the game, oh yeah, I did beat it twice. Really loved the game, so that's probably why I considered it a 9, because there are very few games where, especially these new games, there are very few new games where I feel as though I have to go back and replay it, because that's how great it was, and basically that's how I feel about this game. So that's why I'm so confused between an 8 or a 9. Either way, I wouldn't call it a perfect 10 overall. Open world wise, of course, that's a perfect 10. But overall, I wouldn't call it a perfect 10 unless they improved on the various things that me and countless other people I've heard stated that they wanted the developers to improve on, or they thought the developers were going to improve on, but actually did not do. So that's what it is. Until next time, until next review, y'all let me know what y'all think about this game, if you played it, of course. And if there's any other open world game, because that is my favorite type of games, but any other games you want me to I guess review or play, maybe I'll play it. If I like it. I'm paying for these games myself, by the way. No one is paying me to do these reviews. So the money for the games, the money for the shows or movies or whatever that I watch, they're coming out of my pocket. Okay, it's my money being spent so I can review this stuff for free for you all. No one's paying me to say the things. No one is paying me to even review this product. But if there's something you want me to review and you are willing to pay for that, just know that you're going to get my honest opinion. You're not paying for my opinion. You're paying for me to talk about it. You're not paying for me to say the things you want me to say about it. So if you want a real honest review, hit up my link in descriptions, any of the links in the description box. Business wise, just hit up my email account or just hit me up on Twitter about it. But that's just how I handle things, okay? So until next time, until next review, I'll see y'all when I see y'all.